Centercourt Weekly. I'm Frank Wolf, joined by you
Centercourt.
Chad Andrews of Centercourt. We're being produced today by Tim Gardner. The show is brought to you by Empire Electric, Mr. Tony Palvereni. The first name when you think of upgrading your electrical or just repairing. Don't touch those wires. You're not qualified. Call Tony at Empire Electric.
First and only name.
It's been quite a last few days. Yesterday was threw you off because I'm sure you had prepared to go see a couple of schools battle it out on the hardwood, but unfortunately with the weather that came in, we couldn't play those games.
You nailed it. So I literally prepared. I had everything, all my homework done, everything I would do to be ready to go to a game. I did it all on Tuesday night in preparation of Thursday. Wednesday I did a couple games prep, but I knew that it was going to happen. And unfortunately, it was Tapestry and Global Concepts that got postponed, and that was the game I was going to be at last night. It was going to be the last regular season battle of undefeated teams in Western New York, and it's going to have to happen another night.
I remember you talking about it on last week's show. We covered a lot of ground
Very
last week.
Very excited to see that game.
If you weren't joining us, well, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Let's correct it. Let's get you some help. This is not a show you want to miss. This is a show that, we get into all the finer points of high school basketball, boys high school basketball, because Chad does boys basketball. Exclusively boys basketball. You're at a gym every single night.
Yep.
Even night. Sunday. There's a game Sunday, I noticed.
I couldn't get there last night. I was digging out.
You wanted to.
We got pounded out at my house.
Yeah.
We got the most snow. That never happens.
Wait a second.
Niagara County, like deep northern Niagara County.
Wilson got more snow than anybody, is what you're saying.
I'm saying like Newfane, Burt, Olcott.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got.
Don't you have kids that can shovel for you? Or are they past that age of?
Well, my oldest,
yeah.
Madison, she's quite helpful when I need help. My youngest, not so much. Macy hasn't quite become as helpful as Madison yet, but Madison was helpful. However, Madison was so helpful yesterday that she was outside and left a snow brush in a snowbank, and then I swallowed that snow brush up with the snow blower, and it broke a shear pin on the snow blower, and that's not a problem you want to have when you're trying to clear out a massive driveway. So yesterday was a lot. I'm sore.
Yesterday,
let's talk high school hoops.
Well, I want to tell you, I broke my snow brush yesterday brushing off the truck. Snapped in half. So I had like two snow brushes, one with the scraper, one with the brush. Looked like an idiot I was too lazy to go and get the other one out of the garage and in a hurry, so I just used both. Probably scratched the truck up a little bit doing it. And then this morning I broke the brush handle off one side, and on the other side I broke the other part off. So I don't know. I just gave up. I said, F it. I'm not brushing this thing. I'm just going to drive fast and hope the snow just goes over everyone else's car, which it did.
Safe.
I was that driver this morning.
So it's always fun to see you guys out on the road. I'm never that guy.
That was me.
I'm too OCD about it all. It's got to be pretty clean before I start rolling.
You didn't get anywhere yesterday. You already explained who you were going to go see, why you were going to go see them.
Yeah.
But the teams you have seen up into this point, like since the last time we spoke, you want to dive in right there and go through some of those games?
Well, so we had a show on Friday. Right?
Last Friday?
Yeah, did we have a show last Friday?
Started right on time.
Yeah. And then we both ended up in the same gym that night.
Wilson.
It was a battle of undefeated teams.
Wilson was losing, but were they really down by 20 points at one time?
They were down by 17.
17.
Yeah. Wilson got down 17 points in that game. Medina came right out and brought the fight to them. And Wilson, they were down 13 at half. Then Medina opened the second half with a three-pointer to go back up 16. And then a 48-11 response ensued from Wilson. Ball game.
Yeah. Well,
Wilson stayed undefeated.
Like the last time I saw Wilson, they came out a little cold from the field. Newfane wasn't. This game, Medina was on early and started to get cold as the game went on. I don't think they were as aggressive on the boards as they were in the first half, and that kind of led to their downfall. They also, Wilson got a nice big 3-point shot again from Brock Lepsch.
When you're in the gym, Brock Lepsch bangs him from the left wing. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And like, he's got a nice shot. He doesn't shoot it a lot, but I said to his dad after the game when I was leaving, Brock's got a nice shot. You know, he doesn't need to overthink it. When that shot's there, when he's open for a three, let it fly.
And Ryan Huff had 2 dunks.
So Ryan Huff's 2 dunks were impressive. You had a great video of his second dunk that I saw on.
I was eating popcorn during the first one. That's how I missed it.
Okay, so the first one I really liked because he grabbed it in the back court.
Yes.
And that was when he was really kind of propelling the run. He grabs a steal in the back court and had a step and a half. You know, he had no room really to run at it, but he just went up and pounded it down, and that got the crowd going.
You told me, we had known the Wilson popcorn was a step above, so I got it at halftime and kind of cranked into it just before.
I wasn't kidding, was I?
No,
that's
good
stuff. Wilson popcorn at the concession stand.
I also
the real
went
deal.
After the game to the Wilson house.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you sniffed me.
I didn't get an invite.
You went because you wanted to get home and watch that St. Joe's Canisius game.
I did. Yes, I went home.
It was good.
I also knew that if I went over to the Wilson house with you, that they would be watching the national championship game there.
They were.
And there would be no chance of any high school basketball there, and you're joining a national championship game late. So I did the crazy go home with the phone off, watch Canisius. Then I watched Lockport Lew-Port. Then I watched the national championship, stayed up super late.
Okay.
So, or not the national, the college football semifinal.
Good for you.
But yeah, it was.
I would encourage anyone to go to the Wilson house. It was fantastic.
It's a great little bar in there, isn't it?
Nice and clean, very modern. Bill Atlas, who's the head coach of the Wilson football team and baseball team, him and his wife and their partners, I believe, are the Beelines.
Yeah.
To some degree, yes. They have a fantastic place up there. In fact, I can't wait to get back up there. I might even try to go up there on Sunday.
So I don't know who's going to run that place all summer because the Atlases spend a lot of time at the Sunset Grill in the summer, or they have.
They're gonna have to cross that bridge when they come to it. Other games, Medina Wilson, we tackled. Canisius Joe's.
So Canisius Joe's the game that I whip home to watch.
Yeah.
I would call that a thorough victory that night from St. Joe's. They took it from Canisius. It wasn't anything other than that. St. Joe's was better defensively. I thought they looked better at guard. I thought they were better inside. Liam Horan was spectacular in that game. Probably the best game I've ever seen him turn in at Joe's. As an all-around performance, offensively, defensively, senior leadership. J.J. Shanklin really stood out to me again in that game for doing a variety of things in ways that only J.J. Shanklin does them. And Landon Patterson's defense was impressive. He did a really good job keeping his man in front of him.
So this was Horan's coming out party, would you say?
I think this whole season has been his coming out party. I think he's really been an excellent senior for St. Joe's. And like I've said on the show before, he offers them a different skill set than anyone else on that team can really give them. And I think he understands that about himself now. And
is he giving him the paint presence?
Yes.
Okay, because that was a question mark for both teams, Canisius and Joe's.
And what Liam had been in the past is he'd spent a little more time on the outside and maybe a little less in the post. And he still can be that on the outside, but he's realizing how valuable he can be giving him that presence inside, because he's always going to be able to hit a shot in transition from outside, come outside a screen, end up on the perimeter.
I hate comparing kids, but I got to ask you, in regards to Liam, is he going to give St. Joe's the same presence that maybe the kid last year, the big football player, center?
If you're thinking Nate Blenman.
No, not Blenman. The other kid from Canisius last year, the big guy. He was their paint presence, tough. He was the lineman.
I think we might be going 2 years ago.
Nope.
No.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you about him too. I forgot his name already. He had 2 older sisters that played college ball.
Yeah, I think that
2-3 years ago. Like, is he that big body that is going to be able to help St. Joe's carry on.
I would say he's a different style than that big body, because that's where Liam is special. Is Liam has the ability to bang inside, but he can also move with the ball. He can chase that rebound down. He can dribble out. He can pass better.
So maybe he's quicker.
Yes,
Lighter on his feet.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's where, it's the inside outside threat. I can do a little of everything.
We'll have to watch for him.
Not every big man has that ability.
We'll have to watch for him. Newport Lockport, you watched that one as well.
I did. Not a ton on that. What I would say is Lockport took the early lead. Lockport took control of the game, and then Newport had to come back and dig out of it at the end, and they did a good job of that. That was, like, we were talking about that game on Friday, and I was saying I had Lockport sitting at my number 20 in the expanded top 20, and I said I need them to go grab that win, and it went the other way. It went the way of Newport.
Lockport. Well, you know what? Let's wait for your rankings, and I'll ask you about Lockport.
What I would say about Lockport in that game, though, was Noah Bowman, senior Noah Bowman, was fantastic. And Sam Bowman, the sophomore, got hurt in that game and left, and that definitely didn't help Lockport because they're not a deep team, and Sam is a big part of what they do. Mm-hmm. And Sam coming out of that game, one of the key starters, it opened up the game for Noah to really have probably his finest game that I've ever seen him have there at Lockport.
Okay.
But
I got some Lockport questions
for
you. I want to wait.
All right.
I know on Saturday then you were going to go check out South Park Olmsted.
I did. That was a good basketball game. So South Park they got a team this year, and it's not one player that's an absolute standout. It's more of a team concept that they have. Abdi Medina is a very good point guard for him. Justin Boykins is an all-around talent and a scorer, but Ibrahim Muhammad had a big game in that one. Xavier Gonzalez gave him some really good minutes off the bench. The guy that I was most impressed with in the game was Tyree Johnson, because what South Park doesn't have is size, and that's something that Olmsted had. And Olmsted looked better than when I saw him against Akron. Olmsted has some depth, some big boys, some thick big boys, and South Park didn't really have that. And Tyree Johnson gave them about as much presence inside and as much play bigger than you are minutes as you could ask for. And once South Park settled into that 1-3-1 that Olmsted was throwing at them, which had them rattled for a bit, it was their game to close out, and they took the win. So I was glad I got out there.
Well, we are too, and I'm sure those kids are as well. Because we weren't 100% on South Park. You got your eyes on them, so that's a good report. And remember they played McKinley, and we weren't sure because they beat McKinley.
They got a 9-point win over McKinley.
Without
2 victories.
The younger Staples.
Right. 2 victories over Olmsted now. Yeah, I like the South Park team.
Okay. Then you took that long drive. You called me on your way down. I was supposed to call you back because you were heading into an area where it was kind of fuzzy, and I never called you back.
I was heading to the Southern Tier.
Yes.
Yes.
Did they roll out the red carpet for you?
They sure did. Yeah, I had a
table
with a banner, and they had a reserve for Centercourt sign with my picture on it and a written message.
What did it say? Can you repeat it?
It was a play on the last show, and I was talking about the tweets.
Yeah.
And I was saying how coaches like to call every other coaches well coached. And so it was Adam having a little fun with me and calling me, a well run organization or whatever he was saying about it. But he was having fun with my fun that I was having on Friday.
Good for Adam. Good for Adam.
All the tweeting stuff.
The game itself.
The game itself was a good basketball game, competitive game. It was a game that was won by Olean. And I didn't really have a favorite to the game walking in. I thought that's about what I was going to see. Wasn't sure who was going to win. The two teams are very close in talent. What I would say is I thought Salamanca did a really good job limiting the offensive opportunities of Joe Mest and Mikel Rivera. That seemed to be a concentrated effort on Salamanca's end, and they did that. But what Olean got in response was some really good minutes, especially inside, out of Connor Hogel. They got a nice game out of Taylor Teachman. Adrian Bogdanovich had a good game. So those other guys stepped up and probably gave you a better game than they're usually giving you. Salamanca limits the other guys, and someone else steps up. For Salamanca, Carlton Farmer, I think he had 5 3-pointers. Nice shooter for that team. Peyton Mabey was pretty good in that game. Brennan Gani was good. Dominic Hill mostly held in check. High assist totals. I don't think he had a ton in that game. But I think that the big difference was just the game that Connor Hogel gave Olean inside, against Salamanca's got Peyton Bradley, and Connor Hogel was able to match that and then some.
Okay.
So, good game. Glad I went. Love my Southern Tier trips.
Centercourt game of the week was Grand Island at Lockport, so you saw Lockport twice, once in person.
That was Tuesday night.
And we apologize for the internet issues there. Unfortunately, not a strong signal for us to carry. We'll make it up to you guys.
But Ryan and I were still there. What we saw was another good game. We did that game last year, the exact same game, Grand Island at Lockport. It was even closer this year, surprisingly. Grand Island was missing Jake Castiglia, which affects them certainly because he's a good junior talent for Grand Island, and Grand Island's not an excessively deep team, and Jake's a big part of their success, but they still pulled out the victory without him. Dane Brown, Charlie Croft both had 22 points in the game. They were the stars, but the guy who had a nice game for Grand Island and stood out a little bit to me was KJ
Wilkes.
Yeah.
You interviewed Dane after the game, I believe.
Yeah, we did 5 questions.
Did he answer all 5?
He did. Yep.
Okay.
I asked him what his favorite uniform, who had the best uniforms, and he didn't even hesitate. He just pulled his shirt up and right here, this one.
So
asked him who his hero was. That was his father. Asked him how long the longest Grand Island Bridge wait he ever encountered was. He said at least an hour. He said it gets pretty bad sometimes.
Lockport raced out to a 3-0 record. Fell to Lancaster, then they beat CSAT, I believe. Then dropped 3 in a row. Will North, Jamestown, Ken West. Beat NT. And then they lost another 2, Looport and Grand Island.
Yes.
And there's another game that they haven't even played yet, February 10th at Grand Island's already marked as a loss.
At Grand Island?
Yes.
You marked it as a loss?
I'm on the schedule. I'm looking at Lockport's schedule, and if you jump on the high school website, it shows them playing a game on February 10th at Grand Island in which they lose 55-53.
This is awesome. Well, I think that's the score of the game they already lost, so they're going to want to fix that.
I was gonna say, but they got Kenmore East. Is that tonight? Kenmore East is struggling, so Lockport has a chance to.
Yeah, they just threw the same result on twice.
The win column, and then they've got a tough Niagara Wheatfield team, and then a tough Will South team. Lockport, are they a 500 team?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay. Because they're playing some really tough opponents the last few weeks or so.
I mean, when you just went through their results, I think beating NT and losing to Looport, that tells you what you need to know about this Lockport team. They're good enough to beat an NT.
Mm-hmm.
They're also capable of losing to Looport. It speaks to the parity of the season we're in. They've got wins over Will East and Amherst and lost to Looport. They beat NT. They lost to Ken West. All these teams are very close this year.
I think what it proves is you can't take a game off. you can't take a quarter off. You have to bring it for all 4 quarters, each and every night.
And for the majority of teams, you could say that. Yeah. There's a few games where a team's going to go in and have a pretty good idea that they're the better team walking into the gym, but there is so much parity into that point. And that's why I've seen so many crazy comebacks this year.
Mm-hmm.
I've been at a lot of games where, like the Wilson game, 17-point lead, and look at the swing. They end up winning that game by 20. They were down 17. There's a 37-point swing in that game. And I've seen that more and more in sports in general. We see it more in the NFL now. You know, these leads mean nothing, and it's becoming the same thing in high school basketball. Don't rest on your laurels after a good first half.
Don't do it.
You know.
Don't do it. Okay.
And
that was Tuesday. There's other big games.
So to say don't rest on your laurels at halftime after you get a big lead. So that's what happened over at St. Mary's on, what would it be, Tuesday night?
St. Joe's.
Or Monday night? Well, the game was at St. Mary's, and they played St. Joe's.
Yeah. St.
Mary's got, I think, a double-figure lead at halftime on St. Joe's. And so that is the way this season has gone and the way St. Joe's has been winning games, falling behind against Niagara Falls, falling behind against Nichols. They came back and won both of those games. Now, completely opposite in their win against Canisius. They were just the better team and got a lead and held a lead. But that is exactly what St. Mary's did in their win over St. Joe's. Is they got a lead at halftime, and then they held on to that lead. They didn't allow that crushing run to come back and all the momentum to spill out into St. Joe's favor.
Congrats to St. Mary's. That's a big win. It's been 15 in a row that they lost to St. Joe's, somewhere on there.
Yep.
More than a baker's dozen.
It is more than a baker's dozen.
So congrats to them.
So, I mean, we all know about Will Sabluski.
What was the atmosphere? Were you in the gym for that game?
No.
I was wondering what the atmosphere would have been like in the gym after. I know it's not a weekend game, Friday night, Saturday, but the student section had to be pumped.
They have to be pumped. And I don't know what the celebration was after, or, but what St. Mary's hopes is that at some point the celebration becomes less and the expectation becomes higher, right?
100%.
And I think that's the territory they're approaching right now is maybe we are just a good team and we can expect to be a good team. And, they got Nichols coming in tonight. Yeah. And
no rest for the worry.
No rest for the worry, but why not St. Mary's again tonight?
Do you know the freshman from Nichols? I think his name is Charlie. Have you seen this kid?
No.
So somebody put out on Twitter, oh, you're not talking about this kid, freshman at Nichols. And so I went back and looked. I believe his name is Charlie. Anyways, the kid didn't play against Canisius, didn't play against Joe's, didn't play against Niagara Falls. Now, he dropped 10 points in his last game against, I have no idea who. He had another 10 points in another game and 14 points, but he didn't play against these really good teams. So my question to the guy on Facebook or Twitter who put it out there, I go, maybe pump the brakes a little bit. Your expectations for this kid might be a little bit higher than everyone else's or the coach. And like he was kind of calling us out for not talking about him. I go, you didn't, as good as this kid might be, why didn't he play a single minute or register a point or even a shot or get a rebound against Joe's, Canisius, or Niagara Falls? He wasn't even in the lineup. So that's probably why we're not talking about him. Let's have a good game or a decent game against a good team.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But this guy was like,
even know what to say about
we're
all
not
that.
talking about this freshman. I'm like, okay, there's 8th graders and 9th graders that are playing
right.
significant
There's
minutes.
10 kids that play in every game.
Yeah.
We're doing what we do, but listen, if you're not
he was upset we weren't talking about him.
If you're not putting your fingerprints all over a game, we might not be mentioning you having played in that game. Or
I don't even know the kid's name is.
Well, look, it's
whoever
we're talking about. He's not in the top 7 of the team's rotation.
No,
and guys that aren't in the main rotation of playing time probably aren't going to get mentioned as much. And
his time's coming. It's not right now.
Absolutely, I'm sure it is. Right, you're a freshman.
Pump the brakes a little bit. He's not the second coming of Ja'Kai Rainey.
No.
Anyways.
So, but to go back to St. Mary's for a second, we all know about Will Sabluski. He was he was a top 25 talent in Western New York last year. He certainly is again this year. One of the best players in that league. But Sophomore Blake Kempa bangs a bunch of threes. I think he had 7 in the game, 6 or 7 3-pointers in that St. Mary's win. Tommy Frazier, the transfer from St. Joe's, comes over. He has a nice contribution in that victory for the team. He was on the all-tournament team over at Iroquois. They got Cole Jones, a senior, who's been giving them nice minutes. Jack Lewandowski, the junior. And you got Israel Wilson, who's been over there at St. Mary's. And giving them contributions in different ways, playing like a senior, getting on the glass more, not just sitting in the corner looking for his 3, but getting active everywhere because he can always give you the 3. So
not surprised to hear that.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things over at St. Mary's, and their time's been coming. Team's been together. You look at, like I wrote this last year, they had 9 wins on the season. This year they already have 10 wins. Last year in league, 6 wins all year. Right now they're sitting at 4-1. So they already have victories, like we said, over Timon. At Timon, you got a victory over St. Joe's. They lost to St. Francis at St. Francis. Game that was lost in the last 30 seconds. But tonight you got Nichols. Let's see what happens.
The expectations for St. Mary's have gone up considerably since last year. I think we expected that.
I think that their expectations are going up.
Yeah.
For themselves, and they should be. Coming into this year, it was like you knew there was a lot of parity. You knew all these teams were close, and I looked at St. Mary's and thought, they're kind of one of 5 or 6 teams in that league that are all really close with each other, but there's that mental block you got to get over of actually beating that team. You go get your win over St. Joe's, which you hadn't done in a long time. Now you've got it. Now you can start to look at tangible things and say, we are. We've got more wins already right now than we had last year.
They're a little more dangerous tonight, having beaten St. Joe's, if you ask me. They're more dangerous. Now, Nichols may have thought, okay, we can handle this team, but beating St. Joe's is definitely eye-opening. And if Nichols was overly confident, they're not overly confident at this point.
Right, that's the thing is, so now your chances.
I fully expect Nichols to win the game. Don't get me wrong. I expect Nichols to take care of business tonight. But now, knowing that St. Mary's can play with Joe's, beat Joe's, tells me that they can hang with Nichols tonight. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, well, you're not going to catch Nichols sleeping on you. That won't happen.
No.
You fully expect Nichols to win. I'm not sure I do. I'm going tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I don't know what happens. I think that the two teams are very even.
I'll be following your tweets.
I think it's a great game, and that's why I'm going to go. I'm not sure who wins this game. Can't wait to hear the public address call. It's always a good one over at St. Mary's.
Okay, good.
Let's see, what else?
Well, I want to talk about Springville because Monaco got his 400th game. Was that this past week or the week before?
That was the
Alden at Springville?
That was the week before. The result that I would mention is Alden beat Springville.
Okay.
So Springville got their
over JFK.
They got their win over JFK, and that was a 400th win for El Monaco, and they were 7-2 at that point. And then Alden picks up their second win of the season, knocking off a 7-2 Springville team. So I just wanted to mention that because I noticed that as a nice win for Alden, a team that was looking for a good win, and they got one. And they're in the same league there with Springville, so now they know they can play with the team that had the good record.
Good for Alden.
Kai McRae had 27 points, 7 assists, 6 steals in a win for Olmsted over MST. Those two teams got together. Those are two top 10 small school teams. It was a 28-13 third quarter that broke it open.
What caught your attention this week about Cat Little Valley? You wanted to give them a shout out.
So they are 8-2 right now. Best record ever that they've ever had. Cat Little Valley.
Good job, boys.
So that's what I wanted. They got a big game coming with Ellicottville tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, I think it's a 12:30 game. It was supposed to happen last night. The game got postponed. But, props to Josh Forrester and got Tucker Barrick and Owen Wright over there doing good things. So nice to see that team winning some games, getting off to an 8-2 start, and just like St. Mary's, their confidence has to be soaring right now, and they got to be going into a game against a good Ellicottville team saying, hey, why not,
They don't win a lot of football games, but I think they had a better season this past fall than they've had in maybe a decade, or as good as any they've had in the last decade. So maybe some of that is spilling into the basketball season. I have to believe it is.
I like it.
So
Cat Little Valley. We're talking Cat Little Valley on Centercourt Weekly.
I know.
Let's go.
Let's go to a game there.
I had considered driving to Ellicottville tomorrow, but I don't know. I think it might be. I think there might be a different game I'm going to because there's a team I haven't seen yet that I need to.
Okay. Well, you got to do that. You got to be home or somewhere in front of your TV by 4:30. That's
important too, right? And that's another thing when you think about going to a Southern Tier game to start your day off. Then it's a long. You want to be fresh when that Bills game starts.
Hell yeah,
it's a big one.
Absolutely. Why don't we take a quick break?
All right.
Let's meet some of our sponsors of the show. Wake Tim Gardner up, who's producing the show. We do have a special guest in studio. He bought a front row seat to be here. Joe Kraus is in the building.
Joe Kraus
watching.
He's staring at me right
Joe's
now out of his side eye. Hello, Joe.
Well, he did a great job last week, and he does a great job on hockey and basketball. He's got the Medina.
Man of many hats.
Yeah.
I couldn't do hockey.
But anyways,
go for that.
We're going to be back right after a word from our sponsor. You're watching Centercourt Weekly on Western New York Athletics.
Need an electrician? Empire Electric is your residential wiring specialist. New builds, service upgrades, lighting, generators, you name it, Empire does it with hundreds of 5-star reviews that speak for themselves. Call Empire Electric today for your free estimate.
I choose this MOS because I like to work on things, have hands-on.
Tracker is very important to the Army because it's a very versatile and just modular platform. There's several different variants, and that allows this one vehicle to do several different missions, and it's very important to support just the light infantry and their mission.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics.
Or an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs. More information about our Buffalo office is available at logisticsplus.com/Buffalo.
Explore your next idea. Blaze new trails. Imagine new ways to do things. What will you do next?
At Richmond Bona, we are seriously dedicated to bettering the communities that we serve. If you put your trust in us and hire us, we promise to take care of everything. Call us as soon as possible so we can start the investigation to fight to get you the settlement you deserve.
Welcome back to Centercourt Weekly here in Western New York Athletics. I'm Frank Wolf. I know nothing about boys basketball, or very limited on the subject. Chad Andrews, better known as Centercourt.
You're doing a hell of a job as a show host, though, for someone with that limited knowledge.
Thank you. Chad's here. He's saving my ass, as he usually does whenever we do the show.
Chad's got a light on his face now.
Yeah.
In the break, Tim said, turn the light on. So You can see my face now if I'm not just a shadow. They blurred out my image for the first part of the show.
And there's a nice reflection off my bald head now.
Nice.
Anyways, Tim Gardner produced, and Joe Kraus had to take off, but he wishes everyone well at home. He will be doing the Medina-Akron game tonight, which you'll be able to see on the NFHS network.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game. Good game in the Niagara Orleans League.
Yes.
He's got that. And then Akron is going to be back in more broadcast fame on Tuesday night. I know it's going to be really cold on Tuesday, and we like to give the kiddies off because we can't have them waiting for the school bus in the chilly weather.
Oh,
the wind chill's supposed to get. Let's just get to school, everybody, on Tuesday, because Ryan Mountain and I want to get ourselves to Wilson to watch Wilson and Akron to see how that one goes in the Niagara Orleans League.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be the Centercourt game of the week. Let's make sure we don't cancel school, everybody. You know, a foot of snow is one thing. Some chilly temperatures. That's why we have coats.
I'll be watching, but I won't be able to be there in person.
Yes. So, get a chance to watch Brody Hill from Akron, who has 9 3-pointers in his last 2 games.
I think everyone wants to see the big guy.
Yeah, they do. Everyone knows all about the big guy.
That'll be a nice matchup for both
Yeah.
teams. You know, we do get some fan mail. Good,
Fan
positive
mail.
questions, positive reactions to things that you say, negative reactions to things I say. But every now and again, a negative reaction comes in from something that you did. It's very rare.
Yeah, I put
Very
my rankings up. I got a negative reaction to my rankings in a comment.
So, by the way, we're on YouTube, and if you wanted to, you can leave a comment on YouTube, and I'll try to answer it. Or actually, I'll ask Chad because the question's for Chad. Yeah, we're on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. If you're watching on any of those mediums right now, and you have a question, tweet at the show, leave a comment somewhere, and we'll make sure your question gets asked to Chad, and we'll try to answer it the best he can.
Fair.
But the comment received from Bob Johnson, I'm not sure if that's really his name, but Bob Johnson.
Hey,
Would you care to respond to this?
Sure. You got the
Okay.
comment?
Yeah.
Read the comment.
Dear Centercourt. Actually, it doesn't say Dear Centercourt.
Dear Centercourt.
St. Francis ahead of Orchard Park? ? You have got to be kidding? ? Not exclamation point. But he's questioning that. You have to be kidding. With a question mark, he should use an exclamation point. OP crushed St. Francis last year, and OP has only lost once this season! ! You have been undervaluing OP all year! ! Niagara Falls continues to lose, and you never drop them? ? OP, he's questioning that. OP and Health Sciences played an even preseason scrimmage before the season? ? How would you like to respond to this?
Well, all right. To the point about the scrimmage, a preseason scrimmage before the season started. That is how the preseason works. It is always before the season. Semantics. All right. So I've got to be kidding. I'm not kidding. No, I'm not kidding. So you brought up the St. Francis. St. Francis ahead of OP. Got to be kidding. And I say I'm not kidding. OP crushed them last year. I would say that was last year. St. Francis basketball program today is a much better program than it was last year, so it's tough for me to, I think OP is better also this year than they were last year, but I definitely think St. Francis is a better basketball team this year than they were last year. So Orchard Park was sitting in my rankings, I believe, at number 7 before all this comment came in. They've been sitting in my ranking at 7. So they lose to previously unranked Williamsville North. Now 8 would have been.
You were there, were you not?
Yeah.
Were you at the Will North? You were at
I was at that game.
Okay, so you got a good look at OP.
I saw it. So sitting at 8 in the rank, it was OP 7, 8 was Grand Island, 9 was Francis, 10 was St. Mary's. This was last week or whatever, before the game. So when I put out the new rankings after they lost to previously unranked North, that brought North in. I had moved St. Mary's up, and And that was just based on how they were playing and kind of a gut feeling about St. Mary's. And I did that before they beat St. Joe's. So I had moved St. Mary's all the way up to number 7 spot. 8 stayed Grand Island. 9 became maybe Williamsville North, and 10 was
North.
10 was Francis, or vice versa. But so I guess the sticking point is that I had Francis in there ahead of them. I don't know, but so this week St. Francis is 10. Yeah, 10. St. Francis is 10. North is 9. So the point is, you want me to drop Francis out of the rankings, but you're the team that lost to North. So I got North 9. I kept Francis 10. You wanted me to punish Francis out of the top 10 because I had to bring North in, but I didn't do that. St. Francis, and the reason I didn't do it is St. Francis beat St. Mary's. And this was all before I watched St. Mary's beat St. Joe's. I didn't watch it, but I put a value on that win. I mean, that's a quality win. You know, you've got that. Team's got to have a signature win to back up a ranking, you know, or have these great losses, whatever. To me, the best win of the season right now for Orchard Park is Sweet Home. And I think Sweet Home's a good team, but Sweet Home hasn't cracked the top 10 this year, so they don't have a win over a top 10 team this year.
Now, Orchard Park has an opportunity tonight.
They're at Jamestown.
They're at Jamestown, a very superior team, potentially, AAA team. And
that's a huge opportunity. Go beat Jamestown. We'll make all this go away.
Absolutely.
It's not me trying to keep anybody
Now,
down.
that game is also on the NFHS network. So you could literally flip from Medina, Akron to Orchard Park, Jamestown in real time. I think actually the Jamestown game starts a half hour later.
Yeah.
So if you get a subscription, which is like...
It starts a full hour later, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it's a 6:30, 7:30 thing.
$10 a month?
I mean, that's my Friday. This is my Friday night.
$10 a month. You can literally put your feet up tonight, crack a cold one, or 2, or 3, bag of popcorn, some chips, order some wings, and you can watch 4 really good basketball teams tonight, 2 good games. And I'm sure there's other ones that are being broadcast around town. But you can really see some good basketball tonight on the NFHS network.
Okay, NFHS, you can pay us for that plug that Frank just gave you.
You got it.
So undervaluing Orchard Park all year, I have not been. I picked you guys to win. I picked you to win Class AA. That's not undervaluing. I've had you ranked number 7 amongst large schools all year without a signature win. That's not an undervalue. That's believing that Orchard Park basketball is a good team. I like their coach. I like their players. I like Orchard Park.
They got a great
So I've not been undervaluing you, but you lost to Will North, and Will North wasn't ranked.
They got a
so
great
you guys
coach.
basically did a flipsy.
They
And
got a
I'm
really
waiting
good
for you to
coaching
grab your
staff.
win, and then I'll bring you back in.
They have a very good coaching staff there.
And it can't be about Niagara Falls. Like, you're not dropping Niagara Falls. They keep losing. Okay. Who have they?
See Orchard Park's Niagara Falls schedule?
Canisius? These are their losses we're talking about. They lost to Canisius and St. Joe's and Penfield and Nottingham. Well, Penfield and Nottingham were number 1 and 2 in the state in Class AA when Falls went into those games. Number 1 and 2 in the state. Penfield was a 5-point game. Penfield pounded on Canisius earlier this year. That's just...
Stop their winning record.
Orchard Park has a game coming up this season against St. Joe's. So we'll find out how they stack up then. Yeah. They have it because I put it together at the Centercourt Classic. And then, the very last thing he said again, the scrimmage. We can't get into preseason scrimmages.
You're moving guys in and out of the lineup.
Here's what I've always said about a scrimmage. There's no context on who played in the scrimmage, who was healthy. We don't know what each team was working on. Maybe the health sciences said we got to really work on our zone today.
Playing football and just went on a long run through the playoffs.
Who knows? But we can't worry about scrimmages. So anyway, Bob Johnson, thank you for the comment. Thank you for following along.
An honest answer. It wasn't overly critical. It wasn't nasty. And I don't think Bob was being nasty in his comment.
I don't think Bob's being nasty. Bob's just...
I think he got a good answer, though.
It's when you have a vested interest in your team and you see your team winning games.
Block out a lot.
And I see this every season, right? We're winning games. Why aren't we whatever? And because that's... I wouldn't say it's my job. It's my choice to spend my high school basketball season trying to put perspective on things and taking it all in And at the end of the day, these aren't standings, they're rankings. So I don't care how many games you're winning. If I don't believe that you're better than another team, why would I rank you just because you've got the wins? And like to the point of I highlighted that Alden beat Springville. Alden beat 7-2 Springville. I haven't given Springville any love for their 7-2 record. I can see the context of everything. So, you know, I mean, Cat Little Valley got love today for their 8-2 record, but it's
You did a good job of explaining yourself.
yeah, thank you.
But we encourage you to send in questions and comments so we can address them.
Yeah.
Chad can address them, and you're going to get an honest
Orchard
answer.
Park. You've beat Middle College. This is your non-league schedule. Middle College, Depew, Sweet Home, East Aurora, Virtus, Lakeshore, Maryvale. Of those 7 games, there's only 2 teams that are the same size as OP. All the rest are smaller schools.
Yeah. How many of them have winning records or over 500 records? Would you say all of them, or maybe?
Well, I said Sweet Home was their best team they played. Middle College is a good small school, but Orchard Park is a team that's trying to win AA. Middle College would not win AA. Depew, not so much. EA has been up and down this year. Lakeshore is a Class A1. I'm not sure what the record is. Probably hovering
In the 500.
500 area. You know, Maryville's been a decent team this year. Again, they're probably an A2, not a AA. So, but of all those teams you played, the last, like all those teams I just named off: Middle College, Depew, Sweet Home, East Aurora, Lakeshore, Maryville. The last time any of those teams won a sectional championship was Middle College in 2020, and they won Class C. So, if Niagara Falls is playing teams ranked high in the state, and Canisius and Joe's, we know how good those teams are. Or Health Sciences, or like Jamestown has played OP already this year. They've had Canisius in their gym. I think they went out to Rush Henrietta over Christmas. So, who you schedule and how you fare against a tough schedule. I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to lose 7 non-league games as long as we were getting better every night out. I mean, that's really the goal in high school basketball is let's get better every time we go out. Every day is a chance to get better.
Yeah, basically all these teams at Orchard Park beat Depew is 1-9. I mean, come on, guys. Let's get serious here. Lakeshore's 4-7. He's not making a good case.
So, listen,
OP's 9-1.
OP's a good basketball team. I'm not taking anything away from OP being a good basketball
You
team.
beat teams that you should be beating.
Clearly, I think they're a good team. If I invite you to my Centercourt Classic and I've got you ranked as a top 10 team to start the season and I'm picking you to win a section, I think you're good. I don't think they've ever won the section, and I'm picking them to win the section. So that tells you what I think of the OP Quakers. So don't be mad at me that they're not a top 10 team. Worry about that stuff right now. But
let's do it.
At the same time, worry about it because rankings are fun, and that's what we're doing. And that's why we expanded the top 20. So we can say don't worry about it, but we like it that you have a feeling on it.
Kicking butt.
Yeah.
Kicking butt. Okay. Do we want to get into the top 20? We're getting closer.
Let's do it.
Top 20.
Tim, you ready with graphics?
There's a team in there that's
This is where Tim makes his money right now.
I'm excited
with
about
graphics and such.
Tim?
He's laughing.
Team 20.
Team 20. Last week, I think it was Lockport. This week, it's a team with a win over Lockport, hanging on to the 20 spot. The legendary Legends of Lancaster, New York.
Congratulations to that.
Congratulations to the Lancaster Legends at number 20.
Are they just getting in the top 20 here? They were in earlier.
They've been a top 20
they've been in out.
Yeah.
Okay. They're back in.
They've been in. I think they were in last week. They're still in.
Okay.
Last week they were in ahead of Lockport. They're still in ahead of Lockport. They just
Okay.
probably fell back to number 20.
See, they have a win over Ken West.
They fell back to 20 because of a loss they took to Clarence last week.
Okay.
Can't keep having those.
Come on, guys.
If you're going to be a top 20 team. Number 19.
Hey.
Fredonia. One loss, Fredonia. Only one loss on the season. They've been a top 20 team a couple times for me. I think they still are when I'm looking at everybody. Sat there and watched Fredonia. I've watched Lockport enough this year. I think that Fredonia deserves that spot right now in the top 20, where Lockport is no longer found. Number 18 is the team, also with one loss, that beat Fredonia. And Frank looks happy because Frank likes Dunkirk, because that's where Frank finds love, in Dunkirk, New York.
Who doesn't? Yes,
I do.
I am so happy.
Everybody finds
you
love.
put them in there. I didn't have to slip you a 20 or anything. They did it on their own.
Darn right.
Good job, boys.
They earned it. Number 17, Timon, Bishop Timon St. Jude. And if you're only number 17 and your name's Timon, you just took Nichols to overtime last week, right?
They did.
So that explains.
There was a lot of people are questioning what's going on there because they're used to Timon, competing for championships, and they struggled out of the gate. But I think that's a team that over the course of the season is going to make a run at some point. And maybe it's starting now.
Yeah, well, I think they're a team that is, as evidenced by taking Nichols to overtime.
Yeah.
If we believe in the parity that exists in Western New York this year, and St. Joe's has to come back and gut out an overtime win against Nichols, and we had St. Joe's ranked number 1, and Timon, they're all there. They're all there. So
now,
Timon is more than capable of
yes.
beating Canisius, St. Joe's, any of them.
Now, if Timon can find an athletic director who will return calls, emails, or text messages, that would be wonderful.
Still, huh?
Still, nothing from Timon.
Maybe there's something going on.
I don't know. Maybe we'll start protesting outside.
Could be. What if his the Verizon phone outage has affected him first and longest? What if there's personal issues going on in the world?
Potentially.
Number 16 is the team that beat Timon at the beginning of the year from Newport. They also just picked up a nice win over Lockport. I think they only have 2 losses on the season. Newport chugging along.
Definitely
coming in at number 16
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 15, Kenmore West.
Harlem.
They're coming. They just
You gotta go see those guys.
They just picked up a nice victory over North Tonawanda.
Yeah.
Tuesday night they play Grand Island. Go beat Grand Island, and they're going to keep rising.
Yeah. There's a couple of kids on that team that ref in my son's youth league. I don't know their names.
Ken West?
They play for Ken West, yeah.
They're having a nice season.
Role players, too. Not like starters, not bench warmers. These 2 guys get in the game. I don't know what their names are.
Next week, we're going to have your names handy. Number 14, McKinley. Number 13, Sweet Home.
Nice job, Panthers.
Inching up. Number 12, South Park.
Inching up.
We keep winning games.
Good boys. Good job over there, Sparks.
And number 11, I don't know if we've talked about them on our show in a long time, Orchard Park.
They are located where?
In Orchard Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Orchard Park, but there's only one team from Orchard Park I want to see win, and that's the Buffalo Bills.
I love to see the Buffalo Bills win. Love me the Bills.
Orchard Park's pretty sweet.
I don't care if Orchard Park wins, but I don't want them to lose. I don't care which high school team wins.
Exactly.
I'm just out telling the story. But with a win tonight, Orchard Park will be a top 10 team again.
Good job. You guys can do it. You can do it. It's
Down to Jamestown.
Long bus ride. Not as long as it is for you or me. You have a long ass ride to Jamestown. I have a long ride to Jamestown. Not a long ass ride. You have a long ass ride.
My ride to Jamestown from my house is 2 hours and 3 minutes.
You stop at the Dunkirk Tim Hortons.
I did once, but I don't.
Only once?
I try to just go. I try
all
to not
those years.
stop.
You've only stopped there once.
Yep, only once, and that was the
the
time you
one
saw
time
me.
I saw you.
Yep.
How pathetic is that? Really?
Mm-hmm.
You should be stopping more often.
Well, I used to.
Famous Tim Hortons or something?
No, it's just you've
You
been
have to
driving
pass
for
it.
a while and you
Yeah.
finally see something.
You get off the 90 and
Yeah,
67.
you get off.
Bam.
It's right there. There's
Staring you
stuff.
right in the face. Are you cheating on them at McDonald's?
No, I think I don't eat as much as I used to. Like when I was younger, I used to stop. Everything was just a food stop.
You weren't even going to Jamestown at the time. I think you were going to Fredonia that night. I don't even think you were going to Jamestown.
Can't remember.
Neither can I. A while ago.
Wasn't that important.
We weren't really on speaking terms. You kind of like knew who I was, but like, this friggin' guy.
Was that then? Was that long
Yeah.
ago? You know what? I was going to a Fredonia football game over at that
Orange
field. Yes, I was going to the Orange Bowl.
Okay.
That's where I was going.
Dunkirk, Fredonia?
Dunkirk. No, it was Pioneer Fredonia. Pioneer was playing Fredonia that night in football.
Oh.
And I was attending that.
Okay.
And you found me at the Tim Hortons.
Those teams were good at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good Fredonia football team. Probably had Nick, the quarterback, Big Nick.
Here's what we should end the show on. I want to end the show on this one. And this is something I've noticed happens time to time. I hear about it more than I see it because I tend not to be at these games, these blowout type games, but a scenario. So, hey, we're up 30 points. It's the fourth quarter, 4 minutes left, whatever. We just unloaded the bench. We called the dogs off. We subbed out. How should the team that's down respond to that? Any thoughts on that? Like, to me, one team is saying, okay, we're done.
How much time is in the game?
4 minutes left. We're up 30 points. We unloaded the bench. Does the trailing team then put their starters back in and ramp up the press, try and make up some points on the scoreboard?
No, I think you respond with your bench.
Right. So I think that's just something that happens a little bit, and I hear about it when it does, and I guess my thought is it's not a great look. You know, if you've clearly lost
If
the
the team
game,
down by 30, it's not a great look, but
pressing another team's reserve with your starters to try and make up points. If I say it a whole different way, if I'm coaching basketball, Centercourt's a high school basketball coach, and I'm up 30, and I call the dogs off and sub out, and you throw your starters in and start pressing mine, sorry guys, starters back in, and I'm going to press you. Just to make a point, I guess. I wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't really see what the point of that is.
I don't see that happening a lot, but I'm pretty sure I've seen it happen a few times. I've seen it happen when a coach is up by double-digit points, starting to put his bench in. Maybe he'll put like one or two guys in, not all five. He won't sub out all five. He'll sub one or two in, and the other team will still be pressing. But once the other coach realizes that, okay, there's five starters off.
My example is not a game that you can actually get back and win. It's not like, oh, we got up 20 and we started subbing a little bit, and all of a sudden the game got back to 12, and I had to bring my starters back in just to make sure we didn't let this one get away. That's not the example. I'm talking about a clear, we beat you, and now you're just trying to make up points, and, you know, it's give your guys a chance to play just like I'm giving mine a chance to play, you know.
In a perfect world, that's what the other coach
if you don't want me to continue to press and go play to the nines, then we should probably both have a...
The rules say
there's no rule to that.
There's no rules.
Football, you got to win by 20 to get so many like standings points.
I don't think that there's any. I don't think there's any of that in basketball that's encouraging margins of scores.
Threshold, no.
No.
There was a great game out of our section this week. I think Penfield played Fairport.
Yeah, Fairport beat them.
And Fairport won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fairport's a AAA. Penfield's a AA. What I say to that is, sheesh, it doesn't bode well for us in the future. Like in another month and a half when Fairport and Penfield hanging out in the regionals.
Could Niagara Falls give Fairport a game?
Maybe. I mean, they lost by 5 to Penfield, and I think Fairport beat Penfield by 10-12. So,
okay.
You know, I haven't. Could they, based on that scenario of points and whatever I just laid out? Sure, they could give them a game.
Jeez.
I haven't seen Fairport to know. You know, that would give me a better. Just seeing two teams play and say, yeah, I don't think they can play with them.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate your thoughts on that.
Maybe it'll be Jamestown. Maybe it'll be Lancaster.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of rude just then, just assuming that Niagara Falls was going to win AAA.
Could be Health Sciences.
Yeah. I like that Health Sciences team.
Of all the AAAs, the teams that have played each other are Niagara Falls and Health Sciences. Niagara Falls beat them by a point. that same Niagara Falls team who I continue to rank keeps losing to teams. They got that win over Health Sciences.
Yay!
All right.
That was a good show.
We did it.
Let's remind people where you are going to be tonight. Nichols.
Tonight I'm going to go watch Nichols at St. Mary's. Yep. Not positive on tomorrow, but I think I know where I'm going tomorrow. And Tuesday is a broadcast of the Akron at Wilson game. Big Niagara Orleans tilt. And we're just like that. We're at the halfway point of the season. We've got a Centercourt Classic 2 weeks from tonight.
It's coming up. You get your tickets yet, folks?
Make sure you get your tickets. Look on the Centercourt Twitter X page for a link to get your tickets.
Ken West at Newport tonight.
Yeah, good game.
Huge game.
Yeah.
Ken West. Huge game.
Huge game for
West.
both.
Honestly, the game I would like to go to, I can't go to any games tonight. One game that caught my eye earlier was the Niagara Wheatfield at NT.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a nice game.
NT's got some size.
Yeah. Orchard Park at Jamestown is obviously a big game tonight. You can see that on the NFHS network. West Seneca East at Iroquois?
I think Iroquois got him a little bit.
Okay. All right. Medina at Akron. That's one a lot of people want to see. Tim, you're going to that one, aren't you? Producing? All right. You might want to start dusting off your cars, guys. That's not funny. Anyways, we love you out there in high school basketball land. No comments, questions. We're good.
Get your tickets for the Centercourt Classic.
Do it.
You're gonna want it. We're not streaming the games. If a session sells out, it sells out, and then you don't see it. So
Here's your QR code, ladies and gents. Point your phone at the screen, and you'll get yourself some tickets for the Centercourt Classic. I'll tell you what. I'm going to buy 10 tickets from you, and then I want to pass them out to our loyal listeners as a thank you for watching the show. So if you're watching the show and you haven't purchased a ticket, in order to get those tickets, you need to send a question to the show for Chad, and if it gets read during the show, you will receive a complimentary ticket.
how about Frank Wolf? That's nice of you to do.
Let's do it.
All right.
How much are the tickets again?
10.
Per session?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Okay. Eesh. They better be good questions. It's like corn dog night.
That's what's that? You got to work about 42 minutes at Taco Bell for that $10?
Yeah. If you get your question asked, you'll get a corn dog at the Centercourt Classic.
Minimum wage is over $15 an hour, so you have to work.
Corn dogs.
You have to work 40 minutes to make $10 at minimum wage.
Chris Hudson, thank you. He's
A new economy.
Chris Hudson's adding some value to the show. Niagara Falls lost to Penfield by 8. I remember that. Yes.
By 8. I said 5. It's 8. Thank you.
Good job.
All right.
Good job, C. Hud.
Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Yeah, watching, listening. You can watch again. We're in demand, on demand.
In demand, on demand, available worldwide.
Coast to coast, globe to globe, ocean to ocean. Tim Gardner producing. I'm Frank Wolf, not the star of the show. The star of the show is Chad Andrews.
Don't
At
cancel school on
Centercourt
Tuesday.
42.
At Centercourt 42.
Follow him now. And if you go to St. Mary's tonight, you might even be able to see him and get a question in. But
The View from Centercourt.com.
if you send a question to the show next week, or email you at Chad, or send a message, if we read it on the show next week, you will get yourself a ticket to the Centercourt Classic. All 3 sessions.
The first 50 people. Frank Wolf. Making it rain.
Gonna need another sponsor. Empire Electric. Drop another check in the mail. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank you.
Have a great week. Stay warm.
Go Bills.
And go Bills.